We caught you dancing.
Whoops. Oh, hi.
Good afternoon, evening to everybody. You guys are watching Talking with Heathens. Moen, welcome back.
Oh, hi. Thank you.
We missed you last week on Talking with Heathens. Good to have
I
you back.
know. I know. I'm sorry. I legit had to work because end of the semester is my favorite time of year. I
Oh yeah,
hate
you
it.
got to do a bunch of grading and
The worst thing I ever want to do is it's I don't like it's boring. See? I hate it so much I short circuit. So yeah, my life sucked.
you
And but
started
I watched
short
the
circuiting
show.
just talking about it.
But I watched the show. It was still an amazing, fun show. I loved all the guests. It was very lively. I liked the readings. That was fun.
That's something I'm going to start doing on the show every week. Is that bringing them two back and letting her do like a weekly reading for the community.
That was amazing. And I had to cut in and out, but I love it. And of course, Denton's story time because
Didn't.
yeah,
You have to
missed
love
him.
him.
Yeah, but I will definitely be at the next show. So yay.
What's
How
going
are
on,
you?
Scott? How are you doing,
Hi,
buddy?
Scott. How are you doing, my dear Cookie Monster?
Cookie Monster. If that one picture was pretty fucking disturbing, I have to admit, that cookie dough monster, that was disturbing.
That was terrible. That was so bad. I turned off my computer after I saw that. I was like, nope, nope, we're done. We're done with life. Thank you, Scott. Hi,
Hey,
Susie.
Susie, good to see you.
Susie, I am getting your gift ready to be shipped out.
And Chris,
Chris is here. Chris, I
howdy.
want the kitty that's in your profile. If it's yours, I want it. If it's not yours, get it so then I can get it. So cute.
That made a lot of sense.
It's a cat.
If he wanted
Cat.
the cat for himself, why would he try and give it away to you?
Because I don't just let me have and
You're
be great.
hustling people.
It's a cat. I can't help it.
You're hustling a cat. What's going on with you?
I need a cat in my life. That's what it is. I need a kitty. I need one. I don't have children. I don't have human offspring. I need a kitty. Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you, Cookie Monster? Let's talk about you.
I'm doing all right. Been having a rough couple weeks, kind of hitting a rough patch the last couple weeks. A lot of different changes going on in my life, and then losing my nephew, which I was close with. He died yesterday, so I
Yeah.
was actually debating whether or not I wanted to debate if I was going to be mentally ready to do this show today. To be fair, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it just because I like the band so much.
Yeah. I was really as soon as I saw the message, I was like, yes.
Yes, yes, let's do it. Shall we introduce our guests?
Very much so. I'm ready. Bring him.
Everybody,
Bring him. Bring him. Bring him. Bring
please
him.
welcome to the show, Mark, Mick, Andrea from Feral Sun. Welcome, fellas.
Hello.
Wait.
Thank you for having us.
How are you guys doing? You guys been doing good? I know I kind
Yeah.
of sort of asked this before the show, but it seems appropriate to ask again, I guess.
Do you want to
That's
go first?
good. Yeah.
What was that, Mick?
Oh, I thought Mark could go first.
We're gonna do like a round robin sort of thing. So we'll start with Mark and go around this way.
Tell everybody, what is your part in the band?
I'm the lead guitar player in the band, and that's it. Yeah, I play guitar, and I've been with the band almost like 5 years now, right, Meek? How long now?
Yeah, 5 years. And he's definitely more than just the lead guitar player, man. He's he's like one of the guys you ever meet in your life. He brings a lot to the band. He's always got great ideas, songwriting ideas, you name it. So yeah, definitely more than just play lead guitar.
He's just being
But yeah.
humble. He's allowed to do that.
Clearly.
When we first looked for auditioning guitarists and we found him, we were like, perfect. I mean, both. You know, when you're looking for a new member, it's not just about can you play guitar, because there's many guys that play guitar and they can play really well. But it was, will he gel with the band, and what we have within the band and the feeling we would like within the band, and our vision for the band and how we like to run things. We're not just the old typical sort of like heavy rock band. You got to be all out there, but it's sort of like it needed guys that have meaning. They want to write meaningful songs that mean something to whoever's listening. And yeah, both Andrea and Mark definitely hit the bill with that. So yeah, all good.
So what do you do then?
I'm the yeah, right.
Yeah, let's shift the lens to you, sir.
He just carries stuff in and out of the gigs. That's all he does.
Right.
He's the roadie.
I definitely get drums. I'm the only vocalist in the world that actually carries the drums to and from gigs. No, starting from my passion is songwriting.
I wish.
You wish? Right,
Yeah, did you carry these drums inside every gig?
sorry, can we go backstage? I've got a few things to say to Jay. No, so basically, songwriting, obviously guitar. That's how things started for me, learning to play guitar. But I quickly realized that becoming a great lead guitarist was never going to be my thing. It was more about making a song, doing the lyrics, you name it, which then progressed into let's get a band. So basically everything that goes with being in a band, songwriting to booking gigs, rehearsals.
Oh, that ain't shit. You acting like it's
you
a lot
name
of
it.
work, man. Come on.
The list goes
He's the
on.
man.
Okay, so I was about to say, does anybody else want to, stroke his ego a bit?
What
the
else
way that he
left for
did Mark?
anybody to do? Nick does it all.
No,
You just
Right.
watch him.
that is basically what it's how the progression was from the beginning. But now it's it's always been a collaborative. So no matter what, without the band, there's no song. That's how it is. So that's how I see it. It's like I can write a song, it's all in my head, and I've got an idea of what it could sound like, and then they put in their parts and do their bits behind the scenes, and we're a band. And without everyone doing their part, for me, there is no band. It might just be some song.
So
That's
what
it.
was your the backtrack just a little bit? What was your first love? Was it guitar? Was you like inspiring? Your dream was to be like a lead guitarist in a rock band, and you realized, wait a second, I'm not a lead guitar material, so maybe I should start singing along with it. How did that go?
So basically, it came from the grunge scene. So Nirvana, Pixies, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, all the rest of it. And it was just by chance that I met up with a friend, and he was learning to play guitar. So he was about 6 months into playing guitar, and I was like, oh, that, it just sort of caught my eye, and I was like, oh, maybe that's something I'd like to try. And at that point, it was just like something. I wasn't seeing it any further than that, but I was a massive, let's say, Nirvana fan, and yeah, so wanting to play every single Nirvana song was the first thing on my list. And then it became, once I got many of those down, I moved on to other bands. But I then realized that the turning point for me was from playing covers to actually I might want to become a musician as such rather than just playing the guitar. I unfortunately lost a real dear friend of mine when we were about 16, 17. And I just thought I'd like to do something as a tribute. And I mean, I could just barely play at that point. So I decided to try and write a song, which I then sang in the church, which pretty much had the whole school there. There was about 800 of us in the church. And I was singing in the mic, one of those ones that you have on TV kind of thing. And I was so nervous that I couldn't even look up. And obviously in tears, but that's pretty much how my songwriting career started. Was, 2 to 4 chord song, which I still play nowadays. But yeah, and from that point, I just realized actually I wanted to write my own songs, and the rest is history.
Wow.
History you guys are making. Andrea,
Yeah.
tell us a
Stop
little
Hello,
bit.
leaving
everyone.
us. Don't leave us anymore.
No, I think I got a poor connection. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's you're forgiven.
Yeah, thanks. I'm the bass player in Feral Song, and eventually sometimes backing vocals. and I'm trying to help the guys for to play low frequencies in the songs. That's what I do.
Now, where are you from?
I'm originally Italian from Sardinia. It's the island between Italy, Spain, Africa.
I have
Yeah.
no clue where the hell
But I've
that's
been living here for a while in London, so I'm also Londoner.
Mark, you're not from England, are you?
Me?
Yeah, what if I remember correctly, were you Greece?
What are you saying? I don't look English?
Neither do I. That's why I cuss so much.
No. So I'm original from Lebanon. I'm from Beirut.
All right. You got some mix of members in this band then.
Yeah.
Jay, tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy.
I'm just straight up from the Midlands of the UK, so I'm from Birmingham originally, where all the good rock bands come from. Birmingham is where you can name a whole. Led Zeppelin from my hometown.
Fuck.
There you go.
Never mind. I
Right,
quit.
Black Sabbath from my hometown.
I quit.
You can keep on going. Yeah, Bullet Valentine. You keep on going from all the old rock bands, because the Midlands in the UK, like Birmingham in the Midlands, was a very big rock genre, and that goes across to Wales, which is why you've got a lot of good Welsh rock bands as well. So it's in the UK. That's where a lot of the rock did actually come from, in the late 60s and 70s and 80s. Right through to now, where you got a lot of amazing bands coming out from the Midlands of the country. I now live in London. I left the country for a long time and moved back to London. And then I met up with Mick. I was playing for a whole heap of other bands, like a hip hop, like a Rage Against the Machine kind of feel, and drum and bass stuff. But I was always I started learning to play drums to rock music when one of my old school friends gave me a tape of all sorts of bands on there. Talking, Living Colour was on my inspirational bands.
I haven't heard Living Colour in so long.
Oh no, and they're still rocking, they're still touring, they're still doing the thing. Evie Malmsteen, Ugly Kid Joe, all the typical classic 80s rock bands as well.
Did I grew up to?
All the kind of stuff which we all grew up to, really. It was when then going for the grunge era. And it was my friend who gave me this tape because I couldn't hear patterns I could play to in hip hop. It was too thin, back in the 808 days. Jazz was too technical to try and teach to. Salmon's funk as well. My friend gave me this rock tape, this tape full of rock bands. He goes, "Hey Jay, listen to all this music here. You'll be able to play drums to this." And I could just finally hear, the drum feels, the patterns, and that kind of was my inspiration. I could finally get to it. And, then I played for a long time in a teenage, and I left it for a long time. I got heavily into sport. And I came back and started playing along to, all sorts of different styles of music genres to kind of get my groove back together. And it.
Oh no.
And that is cell phone service for you, folks.
No, Jay, come back. He'll come back.
If not, we can take a break and listen to some music.
Yeah, let's do that.
You guys want to play? You guys want to hear some music out there watching?
Yeah.
I think we're going to play one of my favorites. Actually, one of the first songs I got introduced to you guys was this song I'm getting ready to play. Actually, one of my favorite ones still now. I wear the fuck out of it. I listen to it all the time, which is Blame. And then in a little bit, we're going to be playing another one of their songs, but this is their newer one, which is Better Than You Know. We're going to be playing that here a little bit later as well. Which I'm excited for you guys. Some new music. That's got to be exciting for you guys too as well. Yeah. We'll talk about that when we come back, though. Right now, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Talking with Demons, hanging out with Feral Sun. We're getting ready to play their song, Feral Sun's Blame. We'll be right back, everybody.
don't you stand there and look at yourself? You stand there alone and the rest come away, yeah. Why don't you stand there and look at yourself? You stand there alone as you comfort me. Why don't you stand there and look at yourself? You stand there alone as you comfort me,
Don't miss the next episode of Serious Cougar. Eunice goes on a bender with a pool boy and breaks her hip. If women in their 20s don't know their ass from their elbow, and women in their 50s know what they like, imagine being with an experienced, pleasure-loving octogenarian wrestling with dementia and horniness. The show that hits below the belt, just like her breasts. Serious Cougar, Wednesday nights at 9 on Weasel.
Great song. You guys know as well. Welcome back, everybody. Talking with Demons, hanging out with Pharaoh's son, and we just heard Blaine. What's more in doing? Are you shaking your head in disgust at me?
I've missed you, Sid.
Just a little bit.
I've missed you so much.
Just a little bit.
I've missed that. I've missed all of that. Just you and your shenanigans. Anyway, what happened to Jay? Why he not on? Why where he go?
I don't know. I think he's lost his connection somehow.
Somehow. Let's. I want to ask, which Blame is absolutely one of my favorite songs. Now, how hard was that, Mick, writing that song? Because I mean, that's pretty deep, and the video that go along with it makes it even deeper.
Yeah, it's strangely enough, that's actually been a song that's been around for a very long time before it actually got recorded. But it wasn't quite what you hear there. It was a much longer, almost a slightly prog in between, much longer intros. So it got cut down to what it is there. And I think now what you heard there was probably more perfect to what it sounded like before as what it was written. But yeah, it was a tough one. It came out, we released it in the pandemic, which was... I thought it was crazy that after so many years that it wasn't released. It happened to be released in the pandemic where domestic violence was at an all-time high due to lockdowns and you name it. And the song is about that. It hits home, as you can see from the video. Andy Pilkington from Very Metal Art, got that perfectly in terms of what it can be like for many people behind doors. So it is a very hard-hitting, like you're saying, very deep. I can see that some people might not even be able to watch it. I have one of my best friends that actually took me back and said to me, man, that song and that video was so striking to him that he almost thought like, are you sure you want to release it, kind of thing.
You got to take that chance. I'm a firm believer in videos and content, like video content, that has some sort of meaning, has some sort of a message behind it. And I'm particularly fond of triggering people, to be fair. And I just how I am, though.
It's his whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't meant to be like it was more like an inspirational thing. It was more to shed light on that rather than there's a lot of personal experience with that as well growing up, hence probably where it stems from, where I wrote it from. Not 100% what's portrayed in the video as such, because the video portrays domestic violence in a whole, where I experienced a lot of that growing up, but not quite on too much on the physical side, more on the mental abuse and things like that. So I think I have a massive understanding of it, and I've had many friends that were dealing with sort of domestic violence or parents that were fighting or parents that were drinking their whole life away.
So is a lot of the band's music and writing, does it as a whole as a band come from personal experiences?
Generally, no. I mean, there are a few that definitely was. Another one would be Breathe, which is a song I wrote for my mom, who sadly passed away from cancer. But then there are some fun ones, there are ones on the debut album, for instance, which was written about like a groupie following the band, but you might not pick up on that unless we told you which song it is, that kind of thing. So it's a bit of both. We don't want to just be too serious. We're not a completely serious band, and we never want to be that. It's like we do love writing something with meaning, though, because
I like the balance. I like the balance of
Yeah.
having fun, but having and some songs having a message.
absolutely. And the thing is, even the one that I was telling you now, that could be a really fun one. You never know how the person listening takes it into their life, because they might just turn around and go, "Oh man, that means so much to me," because they portrayed it in their mind differently to what we might say the song's about.
Or it's the fact
I
that
love music.
you're raising awareness in a way that people can actually get and understand and learn. In many ways, people are like, "Wow, I never knew this was a thing."
People hate therapists.
Yeah.
People don't want to lay on the couch and get talked to by a therapist. And I think one of the best ways to do these type of things is through music. Everybody can connect through music. Everybody can connect through that, and it can help a lot of people. I like it when bands have a message, but yet still have that fun side where they get to see them laugh and smile. You get bands like, I don't know what, Oasis, they got just way too serious on you, and then it's like, oh man, what the fuck's going on with you guys?
My
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
Or U2.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the bands, but U2 was fun to listen to, and then they started getting all serious, and it's like, this sucks. I don't want to listen to
Man,
you
I
no
just
more.
want to vibe, and now you got me thinking about my life choices. The fuck?
Yeah, I do that enough of myself. When it comes to songwriting, Mick, how and I'm gonna, Andrea and Mark, this goes for you guys as well. When Mick writes a song, now I'm assuming it's the process. You write a song, then you kind of hand it down to Mark and Andrea, and they add their little elements to it. How much does the song, when it comes to writing and musically, how much does it change by the time it gets back to Mick again?
A lot.
Wow.
A lot, yeah. So to be honest, like Andrea, he's really good to put the songs together as a song. So when Mickey sent the songs, of course, each one they work on the part, and sometimes we didn't change anything if it's exactly like how we feel like it's good and everything. And Mickey is really very good with the composition. So sometimes you just need to color, put like the color around it. And but we have some songs sometimes change a lot. Like now we are working on new song, and we don't know where it's going. This song maybe it's not gonna go anywhere. We don't know yet. But yeah, it will change. So because everybody they
never
put
know.
yes. So sometimes it can go make it to the album, and sometimes maybe it will sit for a few months and maybe come back, maybe no. So depends.
You guys feel like taking a viewer question?
Of course.
Yeah.
Tanya, one of our sponsors, the Norris Fox Creations, sponsors our show. She has a question for you guys. How did you all meet?
You want to answer that one, Andrea?
They said we met at Tinder.
Ooh. Do not spare
When I
the
moved-
details.
So when I moved here in UK, it was in, I don't remember, more than 10 years ago. I was looking for a band to play with, and then I just check on the internet some website or some advertisement about people looking for bass players, and then I found them, Feral Sound looking for bass player. And then I checked the music and I said, wow, that's the music I want to play with. So I just had a phone call from Mick. The funny thing was like he knew that I was Italian, and he asked me a question, are you Italian? So then I start talking in Italian, and he said, whoa, stop. I said, I'm originally Italian too, but I don't know how to speak Italian. So that was so funny. And then eventually we met all together. And I think since day one, I felt like I was always been playing with them since like the beginning. So that the vibe was so good. And even with Mark, because I met Mark the same day that Mark met them as well. So we auditioning together, basically.
Yeah, so let me add on to that just to clarify. So what ended up happening in 2017 was we were doing really well. We had the previous lineup with me, Jay, and two other guys, and we had just played. We had done a tour with Skindred. About 2 years later, we ended up playing with Puddle of Mud, and then just about to start doing 2 campaigns. Had decent management to hopefully start going to the next level, kind of thing. And unfortunately, the 2 members had to leave. One was leaving London, and unfortunately, the other member was going to get married the following year in Italy as well. And just said, look, he can't go forward. So we were just like, what? Oh no.
That's got to be a soul crusher, though. Really, you're right at the cusp of starting to achieve some of those goals, and then everything just kind of falls apart.
Absolutely. And then normally if one person leaves the band, it can destroy a band. Never mind
2 at the same time. Yeah, that's devastating. I mean, that's like
So,
I don't even want to do it no more.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at, me and Jay just spoke after they had left, and we were like, look, we're either going to say this is where Feral Sun's legacy ends, or we give it a couple of months, and if it doesn't work out, then it ends, or let's see how it goes. So luckily we did, and there was a stage that we said, look, we'll give it till the end of December or whatever it was, and within 2 weeks of saying that, both Mark and Andrea popped up.
Isn't that funny how that works? I was thinking, I was going through something similar to that, Mick, not too long ago. Right before Christmas, I was giving myself to January, and then I was going to quit doing this stuff. And then sure as the world thing, places and things pieces started to be put in place. And I was like, well, hell, I can't quit now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just by chance that, then I spoke to Andrea, he was coming in, and I spoke to Mark, and I was like, look, instead of us doing one audition with just the bassist, one with just the lead guitarist, I said to Jay, why don't we just pull them in together? We won't even say anything, and let's see how it works as a band. And it was the best thing that ever happened, because we got them in. We asked them to play 3 songs, have 3 songs down for the audition. They both had worked out more than 6 songs, and it was like, well, there we go. And as I said previously, it wasn't just about how good they were as musicians or if they could play guitar or whatever the case it was. It needed to be the full package. It needed to be, will they gel with us first? And then we can.
That's the key of it all right there. Just sitting in the room when you first meet somebody, just sitting in a room for a good 30 minutes to an hour, just shooting the shit will give you is it really kind of a telltale sign of whether or not these people are going to be a good fit for the band.
Absolutely.
This was all serendipity. That's what everything fell into place so perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, it was like an amazing moment. I think if I remember right, we sort of like, hugged each other kind of thing.
Did we get pictures of that?
This is the band.
I want to see pictures of you guys hugging.
Yeah, it was definitely a moment. And then
that should be the next album art right there. As a matter of fact, now I'm thinking about it, that should be album art. You guys should take a picture in loincloths, just a fig leaf over the crotch and a fig leaf on the behind.
This
you guys
went
just hug
very left very quickly. No.
That's a great idea.
How did we go from something wholesome to loincloths?
That's figs are wholesome.
Since when? Biggs?
Sorry, I got sidetracked. My bad.
At
It's
least you
okay,
didn't bring up
um,
at least you didn't bring up the nips. So
once we actually started getting going, it obviously took us a while to get the band sort of. We wanted to get as tight as we were, obviously, before we had broken up. You know, because we were playing a lot of shows by the time the band sort of almost broke up. So, you know, and we had, as I said, we had some decent management that we were keeping on the line just to say, look, we'll try and get back as soon as possible. But it took a bit longer than expected, just with things happening and all that. And we just about played 3 gigs with this lineup, and the pandemic hit. So it was,
Yeah.
you couldn't ask for a worse situation.
You guys
for-
are like super high. Just played 3 fucking shows. You guys are electric, and then boom, all bars shut
Yeah.
down. You can't
and
do
this is
shit.
why we can't have nice things.
Exactly, and it was like we're sitting in rehearsal, and I'll never forget. Andrea was saying, "Guys, I think maybe we should think about this," you know, because it started coming in, and the news was starting to come in, and we just said, "Okay, well, let's make this the last rehearsal for a couple of weeks then, and see how it goes." And I think Jay said, "Oh, don't worry, guys, it'll be like 3 weeks, and or something like that, and we'll be back." And I said, "Jay, what 3 weeks?
Yeah, that's true.
Like maybe 3 months," and then that turned into 3 years. So it was
Very much so, yes.
almost
I
3
was
years.
Yeah.
I just started doing this talk show, Talking with Demons, back when the pandemic hit, and I was interviewing a ton of bands out there in the UK, and we had shut down too as well. But man, it was really tough on all the bands out in UK. It was that's for some of you guys out there, that was their livelihood, or some of them just loved doing it so much, just being that energy, that electricity within the crowd. Not having it was killing bands.
Yeah.
Bands was leaving left and right. Clubs were shutting down, and then having to watch promoters that I was friends with, have to cancel show after show after show. I mean, we
Absolutely.
shut down for a little bit here, but we opened up a lot sooner than what you guys did in the UK, and it was still kind of rough. But it's good to see though that the scene has come back, and it's coming back really strong.
Mm.
I mean, in all honesty, I mean, especially trying to get back and get going to try and get back to where we were and get moving now post-pandemic. Unfortunately, things are still not quite there. I mean, yes, things have been moving for a while, but because of so many venues that closed down or still busy closing down, because after the pandemic, don't forget, then we have cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, promoters were giving up. Bands, some were giving up, some weren't. So you ended up having the promoters that were left just rather booking the bands that were sort of on their roster, that were like a good money winner for them, rather than taking a chance on another band that's traveling. So you just end up having the same bands on the same festivals, or on different smaller festivals, or in the same venues that are still able to keep going. Or you had the fact that the bigger bands weren't able to play the bigger venues, so they took preference on the venues that we might have played before we broke up, kind of thing, or with the last lineup, and then it just faltered down. So
It's just a hard industry to be in, regardless.
yeah,
And then you add all those elements to it. It's tough for bands.
absolutely. On the plus side of that, to say now, after all of that, going full circle now, going back to what you were just saying, over the December time, I had a bit of a lull as well, where I was like, I've been trying to get some gigs, put on my feelers. I send out like about 100 emails, that kind of thing, and you only get 1 or 2 back, which then say, yeah, we'll keep you on the list. You're on a waiting list because there's so many bands, and so as you're saying, it's tough out there. But then all of a sudden, I just got these like really weird little signs. I got in the car and I start driving, and something on the radio just says, "No, man, you can't give up." And I was like, "What?" But
I look for those messages like that as well.
And then all of a sudden, I saw something that my sister posted, and it also said something about in that line, but it was all within a succession of 3 or 4 things, and I just went, no. I had somebody in mind. I was like, right, I'm going to contact them, and not like a last shot, but we need something positive going into the next year. And I'm just so glad we did, because we've got some some good news going into this year that we hopefully get some support with some bookings, and we can pick it up again and start flying again.
Sounds like you guys got some shit rolling in the positive direction, which is good.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about this new song. And now, how did this song? What made you guys pick? How many songs have you guys got ready that was actually able to release, and why was this one picked?
Well, I'll probably have to answer that because we've got a few that we've been sort of playing around with. We've even tested them out live. I'd say maybe we've got about 5 or 6 ones that we could possibly say we could maybe start tracking, and it might need to be reworked, and Andrea doing his producing skills, and we could probably put it down and come out with something decent. But we don't generally want to start putting out just any old song. So we decided to just put out good singles as and when we can, especially due to the fact that we weren't getting gigs, because if we were to put out an album and didn't have any gigs to follow up with the release and all of that, it just felt
You have
like
to think about the return. You can go out there and gig, but if nothing's being pushed, like at a merch stand, that's where bands make their money, is at these live shows, selling their CDs there at the show, shirts, stuff like that. And if you can't get the gig, you're not getting any return back, and it makes it kind of tough.
Absolutely, and also the time span that we, with the busy schedules that we all have, we just thought to get an album out is going to take us so long that we'd rather get a single out. Well, if we could, every 3 months or something. So at least we can then push the single, get back in studio, record the next single, push the next single, and then hopefully start moving with the gigs. So now if we get that assistance, we can start maybe think about the album, because the thought of an album is definitely in the cards. But we won't just want to be putting down songs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You plan on like releasing 4 or 5 and then taking those 4 or 5 songs and making an EP out of it?
Yeah, there's that option as well. I mean, we basically we've just been doing what we want to do. So luckily we don't have a label to answer to or anything. So at the moment, singles was the way forward for us. But yeah, I'd love to get to the point of releasing another album, especially with this lineup now. And then,
but I do like the idea though, releasing a single every 3 months keeps you relevant, keeps you still your band still in the scene, social media wise or locally wise for clubs and stuff like that. So I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely, and also people don't really digest a full album much anymore. I mean, people are skipping songs all the time. So and then
I'm not sitting down and listening to an album like from beginning to end in a long fucking time.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is it. I mean, over the pandemic and all that, we could have probably released a few more songs. It just didn't work out that way. But we've got Blame out there. We've got Save Yourself. We got Stand Up. We got Better Than You Know. Before you know it, we basically almost put out an EP or an album worth. By the end of this year, we could put those songs together and call it an album if we really wanted to, because the other side of it is that if we had a big label, we would have been able to push it out to the rest of the world. But the rest of the world hasn't even heard these songs that we've released throughout the pandemic. So those songs
there's a lot of it. Do you guys have a promotional company that helps you guys out as far as distributing you guys as singles?
Well, we've basically been doing it all on our own. So that's also another thing that's going to come into play this year, is getting for that. But then again, this is where we're saying that even though we're thinking about releasing new songs, there's all the songs that we released throughout the pandemic that can actually still be pushed, because they haven't been pushed nearly enough. I think Blame probably got a bit more than Save Yourself, for instance. But then when people actually get onto it, like yourself, you're saying Blame's like one of your favorite songs of ours, which we love to hear that. We think that there's still so much more potential for those songs before we even think about the next song. So I think it's putting our heads down with like a management company or whatever, and trying to see if we can get some sort of a budget.
Well, isn't that what happens though in a way? When bands get signed, I'm sorry, Maureen, I'll let you go next. usually what happens, right, when bands get signed to major labels, this band is hypothetically may have put out 3 or 4 EPs, so they've already got their material ready. So when they go to the studio, they just kind of handpick their best or favorite songs from, let's say, those 3 or 4 EPs and make an album out of it. So it's really, when you listen to that first album from a band, 9 times out of 10, that's not new material. That shit's been floating around for 15, 20 years, hypothetically.
Absolutely. A classic example is Cedar. We knew them as Saran Gas in South Africa, and they released an album which I think sold more than 50,000 records or 100,000 records in South Africa. And when they got signed up to Wind Up Records in the States, we were all like, wow, this is it, like amazing. I mean, they were a massive inspiration to us because we were just coming on the scene when they were sort of getting signed and going overseas. And they're a very similar band to us. So I was like, let's see what they're going to come out with. And actually, their first album as Cedar was about 10 out of the 12 songs was the songs that were on the album in South Africa, with 1 or 2 songs that actually just got reworked a bit. I mean, like there was a chorus change in one of the songs, which I was quite surprised about. It was obviously re-recorded, so the sound was actually better, but give or take, some people still preferred some of the raw sound on their first album in South Africa to the one in the States. But you're right. They basically made their career from the songs that they had re-recorded.
I think it's smart for I think it's smart as far as label side is concerned, business wise, to get the band out the fastest to take some of their old material and create an EP. And it's easy for the band to do a tour when you already played these songs 20,000 times in clubs and shit too. So I think business wise, it makes sense. Let's talk about tell us a little bit about the writing and the story behind Better Than You Know before we play it.
Better Than You Know is also, again, another song I think definitely has a lot of meaning. I think as the band, before going to the actual meaning for me and why I sort of wrote it, I think it's one of our favorite songs at the moment. I think it feels like we've actually, how can I say, the band's matured a little bit with this song compared to some of the other songs, let's say, from what it sounded like on our debut album. And we like where we're going. So I think it's like a turning point, this song for us. And on the meaning side of things, this is again a song that I've had in the background. I've played around with the lyrics a bit, but it was a song that was inspired by my son. And through all the stuff that I went through and I had to deal with, talk about inner demons. I had to fight quite a few inner demons over my years. And he was the one that sort of like made me see. It was like looking at myself growing up through his eyes, or like through my eyes, watching him grow up, because he reminded me so much of what I was like at his age every year as he was growing. And then made me realize what kind of a person am I and what was I doing there. I'll truthfully say that there were stages that I was drinking too much, for instance. Not full-blown alcoholic, but I started seeing myself as my dad, because my dad was full-blown alcoholic. And I went, oh my God, I'm just repeating history here. Other than the fact that I didn't go down the route of all the fighting and the craziness. But yeah, in terms of that, I mean, that's letting out a lot, but I really want to tell you that because it's another song that really means a lot to me. And I think it comes across to the band. They all know about it. And I think it's, they all...
Thanks for sharing with us, though.
Yeah, you know what? I used to be very introverted. And there was a stage that I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to talk about it, because I've quickly realized that there are so many people that were dealing with stuff far worse than me. But also by me talking about it, I started realizing the people that would then say, wow, man, like, let me tell you about my story. And then it would make them, open up a little bit and, make them realize that they weren't the only ones going through it. Because I think a lot of the times you're so much in your own head that it's all happening to you and no one else.
And it's good that people see that hear that there's a lot of people who do feel like they're alone and that they're the only one going through it. And they see people like yourself and the band write songs and put material out like you guys do. I talk about it a lot, mental health, addictions. I talk about it all the time. It doesn't stay out in the open up front as it should in my eyes, because it's more common than what people think it is. And reason why we don't hear a lot about it, because a lot of them hide it. They just push it off to the side, do their best to mask it. So bravo to you for even speaking out about it, because a lot of people won't. They're just I don't know if it's just they're afraid to, which that's probably got something to do with it. They're probably afraid of what others are going to say. But at some point, part of our healing ourselves is talking about it, and helping others by talking about it is actually, in a sense, healing us as well too.
Absolutely. You know,
Makes us feel like the pain was all worth it in the end.
Yeah,
You know you're helping somebody else.
It's just sometimes it takes a long time to realize when you're going through something, you don't realize, you know, that old saying of things happen for a reason. Like, it might only be 5 years later that you think back and go, oh my God, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be
here right now.
But when you're going through it, some people can get to that 5 years later and other people don't, you know, and that's the part. And you just hope that you can get through to somebody before they go and do something silly, or, you know, I mean, that's the really bad side of life. But yeah. But anyway, on the positive side, it's, you know, that's what it was. It was like a massive eye opener. The line in the song where it says you break down walls that are kept inside for years and years was that moment. And then, as we are saying now, it's better than you know. So all the stuff, you know, once you actually start speaking about it and realize loads of people going out, that there's much more to life, and, you know, just yeah, that's the
love that fucking song. That just more now. Let's listen to that. Made me love that song just that more, much more. Morn, why don't you ask the question? I'm sorry for interrupting you earlier, and I didn't forget. I know you had a question you wanted to ask.
I forgot I wanted the song.
I'm sorry.
Let's play the song.
All right, let's play the song. Everybody, you're watching Talking with Demons. We're hanging out with Pharaoh's son, and this is their new song, Better Than You Know. We'll be right back, everybody.
Hey, this is Josie Scott, the original OG lead singer of Saliva, and you are watching Inner Demon Media. Release your inner demons. We all have demons. We just don't try to hide them.
Break down walls you know, better than the soul you trade. It's better than you know. Better than you know, better than the soul you trade. It's better than you know, better than the soul you trade. Better than you know. Better than you know. Better than you know. Better than you know.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you.
Welcome back,
Thank
everybody. You're watching Talking with Demons. We're hanging out with Pharaoh's son, and you just heard right there their new song, Better Than You Know. Okay, here's some things that I've noticed. Evolution of the band, right? I guess you could say things that I've noticed from, like, let's say Blame to this song. Musically amazing. Mark, the guitar solo, I just was like, yeah, that's it right there. That's what I needed to hear right there.
Thank you.
The Mick vocals, you're using. I noticed you had a little bit of a different tone to your vocals. I noticed that. I like it. And Andrea, your bass playing, that little that little part in that song, I fucking love that part. Catches me
Thank
every
you.
single time. But great song, guys. Great song.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
But I've noticed a little evolution of the band, a little bit of a vocal change for you a little bit, Mick. I noticed from, if you listen to that song prior and then we listen to Blame prior, you noticed a little bit of a vocal change, which I really like.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you brought it up. Well, I think everything before that, it was always just trying to see, you know, how much grit can you put in behind it, or, you know, how heavier can you make it? And I did say to the band, and they'll probably vouch on this, is that I said, actually, I want to try something different, because in my mind, that song, I just wanted to sing it. I wanted to give it where it needed. Just like how you hear it now is what was in my mind. And almost like a talking, singing vocal. And yeah, it came out just exactly how we wanted it. So I'm glad. That's why I think, you know, things slightly different. As you're saying, a bit of an evolution from our previous writing. And then most important is that this is our first, call it self-produced song from the rest of the songs, because Andrea was our producer. We produced everything between.
Andrea, you did the producing and mixing on that?
And recording. Andrea did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And mastering as well.
And mastering.
Man,
Yeah.
good job. That sounded clean. Everything sounded even. I mean, if you wouldn't have told me that, I thought you would have gone to a studio and recorded that.
Well,
Yeah.
Andrea,
Well, we did. It was studio. Yeah, we recorded.
Technically,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Andrea's
Yeah.
studio. That
Yeah,
We got a studio
We have
with
studio.
Mark. Yeah, with Mark and another partner here in Southwest London, and it's called Studio D. And we start producing there as well. Some other bands
Yeah.
too. Yeah, and obviously Ferrosun. So that was my first production for this band, because the previous songs that I recorded with the band, there was another producer, and then I didn't want to be involved in the beginning, but after that,
He was like, I could fucking do
speaking with the
this.
guy, I said, let's try it. And I
He'd
had
spend a
experience
couple
as a
thousand
producer and
dollars
sound
on
engineer,
it.
so
Yeah.
It's like fuck spending couple $1,000 in the studio. Fuck, I can do this myself.
And sounds better, I think.
It sounds really good. I mean, if you wouldn't have told me that you guys did that, I would have thought that was in a studio.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's
no, we
a
very
science to that shit. That is not easy. Mixing and editing and shit like that, it's not fucking easy. It takes an ear, and it takes you actually sitting behind this computer and cussing at it like 1,000 times. Well, this is not how I fucking want it to be. Then you walk away angry and toss it to the fucking ground. You know, yeah, that's me. You guys would want me as a producer?
I mean, Andrea, he's really good at recording. He is amazing, and he did this from long time. He was he's a sound engineer in Italy, and he
cheated. Then he already had some knowledge.
So yeah, he know what he's doing.
welcome back.
Morn, you got any questions for him? I know I've been kind of doing a little bit of the talking. My bad.
Nope, I have been enjoying this conversation. I am.
It's been a normal conversation this time. Somewhat.
Don't start.
Better than most.
No, don't you dare.
Better than most.
You know what? I'll let you have it.
It's been better than most. I have said the F word a lot.
I mean, but if you want to summon the mascot just to spice things up, you know.
So what does before we take off for the night? There's a question.
Oh, there's a bunch of. There you go. You got a couple. We could have asked the
we got a
audience.
question. Yeah, let's get an audience question. What's your favorite gig ever? Country and venue.
With this band?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or ever. Or personally. Personally or the band, either one.
I mean, dealer's choice.
So for me, my best shows I play in the biggest show and the best show I play, it was in USA. We opened for Hell Yeah in Hard Rock Cafe, Florida.
Dude, Hell Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lucky bastard. I love that band.
It was it was really good show for me. That's as a big show. With this band, with the Ferrosun, the best show we play. Like we have very good shows. We play really good shows, but the best one, it was the first show after the lockdown. Remind me, Mickey, where it was. The first show, it was
Leo's Red Lion.
Yeah. Red Lion. It was a really good show, and the place where we went to play, it was a little bit like outside, so it's not like around buildings or anything like that in the city or anything. So we are scared that it's not gonna be a lot of people, but it was packed, and it was really very good show. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Aw.
Andrea?
Yeah, I can say the same. I agree with Mark that that show after the pandemic was the best one that we did.
Yeah.
I think if I remember well, we just practiced like we had just 1 or 2 practice before the show, and we just put into that show all of the energy that we had, and yeah, that was an amazing show. I think we all agree about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that one was great, because you're coming out of the pandemic. Well, actually, we were still in the pandemic, and it was just starting to open up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, correct.
And to give you an idea, we were the first band on because we were like still trying to get back out there again as this new lineup, and the doors were still closed. We were doing a line check, tuning our guitars, looking down. The next thing we look up, and the place is packed.
You're like,
Literally.
oh fuck.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like a 7 o'clock start. And we were
Oh
like,
fuck.
what?
Oh,
And
Yeah.
just set the bar. We were just like, let's go. Like that was it. I mean, what a way to start, and it was just so good to finally get out there. And the guys that are running it is just amazing. The venue's great. The hospitality was great. So the whole night was just amazing. I mean, going back on one of my favorite ones, that one is definitely, I think, for the band so far, I think that one is the one that hits the bar. But personally, I think there's a few. I mean, the tour with Skindred, obviously supporting Puddle of Mud, Prime Circle, which is one of South Africa's biggest bands, was a big highlight for me. We supported them here in London, and those are all there as some of the big ones. And then we've also played Hard Rock Hell, which is another festival we're going to actually play again now, come March. So
Nice.
we're looking forward to that. And we've got another one in Nottingham at the Old Wine Vaults with our good friends that we haven't seen in a while. So yeah, that should be another good night.
Here's another audience question for you guys. What song currently that's out right now means the most to you guys from Feral Sun?
Anyone want to do that?
Because I am. I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm not sure which one it is.
Well, do you mean like a late?
What you have released out right now, of all those songs, which one of the songs means the most to you individually? So Mark, Nick, and Andrea, individually, which song means the most to you, or you like the most?
Okay, for me, I really, really Better Than You Know. It means so much for me, as music wise and lyrics wise. Like I love to play it live show. It's amazing. It gives very nice feelings and energy, and I feel it shows that the level for the band. I love it. I love that song. I love all the songs, of course, but this song is
it's fresh, it's
fun.
new,
Yeah.
and it shows the evolution
Yeah.
of the band, and it's exciting for you guys to get the reactions coming
That's
back
true.
from a live audience, because it's something new that you're hoping that these people are going to be receptive to.
Yeah,
And to see that they are, it's pretty fucking amazing feeling. So I get it. I can understand why that one means the most to you
And-
right now, because it's showing the progression of the band.
correct. Because also, bear in mind that each one of us in the band come from different genre of music. So we all now we start use our knowledge and what we know for music, how we can put it in good Feral Sun sounds, and now you feel we are more free to work with the songs and be able to give what exactly the songs want, which is really, really good.
What about you, Mick?
If it's a Feral Sun song, yeah, I think Breathe will always be my song, being that it was for my mom. But I agree with Mark on Better Than You Know, especially if it's for a latest release. And everything he said, I mean, I can't really add much more to that, because he just hit the nail on the head there. It's definitely, I think for the debut album, we had a song, People Are Dying, which is the song that sort of opened up the gates to all the songs on the album. And I've got a feeling that Better Than You Know is the start of a new wave of Feral Sun songs going forward. So, yeah, definitely up there now.
Andrea?
Yeah, obviously, I can say that Better Than You Know, because personally, it's that first song for me that I produced, and also I think, as Mick said, that from this song I can hear that the band is more mature in terms of songwriting, and I don't know. I think it's like the song after what we lived after the pandemic, and after all the things that happened to the band, and that's the result of that. So that's why we are very proud of that. So
I would be. I mean, the song's really great. And I'm really looking forward to seeing because I've been following you guys ever since basically pretty much day one. I mean, basically, I think I got introduced. I forgot how I got introduced. Maybe it was Forge AMP or one of those shows, the internet shows that's going on in the UK. I don't remember. But anyway, I got introduced to you guys, and it was Blame that introduced me to the band. And I was like, man, I really love that sound. And then I've been listening to you guys. I've been hearing I can hear the progression and the evolution of the band, and you guys, I see some great music coming out from you guys, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
We really appreciate the support, and it's great to speak to you guys again. Also,
Right. You got anything coming up? More? Go ahead.
yeah, no, just on a personal note, I'd just like to say, you were mentioning your was it a family member? I just want to say condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We really appreciate that you've actually come on. So, well, I mean, if you're saying it was yesterday, I mean, like, wow, like, thank you so much. Like,
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I value people's time. That's the most valuable thing that we have in our lives. People may think it's money, but it's time. We're only slotted so much in our lives, and sadly, he passed away. But my life can't stop, and I committed. When I commit to something, I try my best to pull through and try it. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us and sharing space.
Thank you.
oh, it's brilliant. No, thank you so much. I just thought I needed to say it because,
Thank
yeah,
you.
we take my head off to you for doing this, So
I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you very much. Before we go, what do you guys got coming up here in the near future that you guys want to give a shout out to? Where can we find you at? Where people can watch this find you?
Oh,
More?
wait. I was going to ask, should we talk about the radio?
I will before I end the show.
Okay.
Yep.
Are they on our radio?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Them two songs actually got on the radio on rotation. Blame and the new one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah, I mean, we're on all platforms. So if you guys are looking for music, we're on all the above. We've got our songs on every single one of the platforms: Spotify, YouTube, you name it. They're all out there. If you're trying to get us on socials, we are again on Instagram, Facebook. We've got SoundCloud, you name it. So, get out there, Bandcamp. Just put in Feral Sun, and you'll find us on Google and all your favorite platforms.
We'll just Google you.
That's it.
Google.
Google anything nowadays.
Thank you
That's
guys
true.
for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate it. I shouldn't have to. I'm not going to wait 2 years next time. I apologize.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, Andrea, it's been 2 damn years.
That's it. Oh, before we go, just got a message saying Jay sends his apologies. And yeah, he just couldn't get back.
It's cool. We
It's
forgive
all good.
him.
He was in his car. We got
Yeah.
him as long as we did, being in the car.
Yeah, we understood. It's perfectly fine. He was missed.
So yeah, more to the topic of the radio. We are officially launched the Heathen Nation Radio. It is live now, streaming 24/7. I will be making some announcements as far as what DJs are coming on and times and dates. I'll be coming back with Delinquents Ball on Saturdays. I know that's for sure. So it's going to be Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Next Wednesday morning, we will have ourselves another Talking with Heathens. And we have my guest, Jenna from Magic and Moonlight. She'll be joining us on the show. Then on the following Wednesday, we have this next band I'm going to close the show out with, Anaria. We're going to have them on the show on Wednesday night. with they have a new song out right now too as well, and it's called a Synthesis. And we're gonna play that to close the night out. So, guys, thank you once again for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of our
Thank you.
sponsors for sponsoring this lovely disaster we call a show here.
Thank you for having us.
And guys, best
Thank you.
of luck, best of wishes to Pharaoh's son. Thank you guys once again for hanging out with us. You guys, be safe, be well out there, and we'll catch you all Wednesday.
Back
Thank
at you.
you.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Love you
Bye.
all.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.